And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, back in studio. Welcome to the new year here. Brandon Rhymes, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, and the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Big announcement this past week or two here. We've been making some moves behind the scenes, and we're having some fun here in studio. Got an all-star lineup, as we always do. Kelly Oliver back in the house. Welcome in.
Thank you. I'm so happy, so excited for the new year. So much is happening. My head is literally spinning.
Business loan solutions,
yes.
Helping people obtain different types, kind of alternative type financing, would you say? Commercial?
All financing,
Okay.
not just alternative financing.
Okay.
So we do everything from bank lending, conventional mortgages. For business and commercial real estate, we do not do home loans. So there's other more talented people who can do home loans. And then all the way through hard money, or if you need cash advance, money today, right? So we can do the money today kind of thing. And equipment loans, working like of capital, SBA loans, although very interesting. The government is shut down, so there are no SBA loans right at the moment.
Wow. So the pipeline slows on that side of stuff.
It is a screeching halt. Yeah, it
Cool.
doesn't go anywhere. So we're having to get other types of financing to the table for those projects that really have to get done, because no one wants to hear, sorry, can't close your loan because the government's closed down.
Yeah, because of politics.
Because of politics.
Good stuff. Kelly Oliver in the house. Jason Sallman also back in studio, cryptocurrency expert. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you, sir. Always good to be here. Feels good to be back, for 2019. Today, we're just going to go over some really simple and practical use cases for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and why it's going to be so important in the future.
I like it. I like that jacket too, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sharp,
I got the little Bitcoin pin.
You gotta check our show out. If you're just listening to the radio show version, you gotta check out the visual, because we put up pictures from our expert contributors. You got the cameras in studio. We also have screenshots, for example, like our roofing company, Suncoast Roofing. We'll put pictures up of different types of scenarios that play out in our business partners' life, day to day. So as an expert contributor here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, there's lots of alternatives that you can hear, not just on the radio. So you could also tune in on WeBeam TV. We have our TV show on WeBeam TV. Plus, we repurpose all the content is on YouTube. So if you go into YouTube, for example, you put in Kelly Oliver's name, Quarterback Show, you're going to see lots of content. Same thing, Jason Sallman. You're going to see lots of content, and you can dive deeper into these different areas of consumer advocacy. These are things that we're doing to help you understand more about your buying decisions. And we are Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region's #1 consumer advocate. 6 years running now, 6 years on air. And we have our weekend show on FM 102.5 The Bone. That's Sunday mornings, 7 a.m. And we're proud to be a part of the American Dream television show as well. So that's another show that I'm involved with called the American Dream television show. That's on Sundays at 7 a.m. on CBS. Yeah, so we're on Apple TV, Amazon TV, Roku, doing a lot of cool things there with the real estate company. A lot of good things happening, so here we are. This is our first live show back in studio here in January. So let's talk a little bit about, what we see happening with the market. Of course, we don't talk too deep into politics, but it's not, we touch on it because we need to know, let our listeners know what's happening out there. So you've got this standoff right now with the government shut down, Trump saying, hey, this is for, the wall, for our nation's sovereignty, all countries have a wall. We need the border wall, whether it's concrete or metal. I heard him going off about how, metal's cheaper now and it's manufactured in the States. And so without getting into the politics side of it, economically, where are we at right now? What do you see happening? Let's kick it over to Jason here.
Well, I think my favorite aspect of at least the government shutdown is that now you don't have to pay your taxes, correct?
Yeah, hey, take a break. This year's off, man.
No, I saw so many memes about that online that were talking about it, like the government shut down. Like, why am I still paying these taxes every single day?
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny to see it prospectively. But no, I think when you look at market cycles in general, so you can look just historically through the U.S. market, and you can always see these kind of waves that come. And so in general, we have major recessions somewhere between 7 and 9 years. we're over that cap.
Yeah.
So we're due for something. Now,
Yes.
whether that's recession, depression, all out sheer anarchy, hopefully that's not what happens.
Yeah.
There's something coming. I think you could kind of tell that the market is spooked a little bit. Like whenever the Fed just hints at the possibility of maybe raising rates, like the market loses its mind. And then in the same sense, when nothing happens, we had the biggest gain of all time in the market just like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Over 1,000 points in one day.
Yes.
So it just seems like very on edge.
Yeah. It is. It really does. And there's uncertainty with markets, and I know Trump is. That's another thing he's been saying is let's not raise the rates. Let's keep things status quo. The economy's still moving. Things are rocking. Real estate slowed a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too. I'm in the middle of a book, almost completed this book called Market Shift, and it's written by Gary Keller, who wrote The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, The Millionaire Investor, Real Estate Investor, all these different books.
Yeah.
And he's a visionary. And when you look at some of the advice he gives in that book, there's all types of things you need to look at as a business owner.
Right.
So kind of jumping into the meat of our heart of our show here is about helping business owners, helping consumers. So when you look at that, a lot of businesses probably have inflated expenses. They may want to look at readjusting their P&L, moving some of that money to the bottom line of here, this is a direct function that's going to create income or revenue or new clients. And take a hard look at things that they might want to cut. So you want to soften up that expense side of your P&L, and you want to look at that as well. So with the market being in the middle of a shift, now we're talking specifically about the real estate market here. I really feel like we are in a softening market, especially, a lot of my listings above the $500,000, $1 million, they've slowed over the last 2 or 3 months. We've seen that. We are getting some showings this next week. So I hopefully kind of what you alluded to earlier, the second week of January, things starting to really get back into the swing of things. People back from their ski trips and their vacations.
Yeah.
So let's get some property sold. That's what I say. Let's get some real estate deals happening. Let's stimulate this economy one deal at a time right here on the Wall Street Business Network. So Kelly, same question to you. What are you seeing? What do you think's happening right now?
Well, I've read the same thing everybody else is reading. It's coming. The recession is coming. Don't know if it's a depression. Don't know if it's total anarchy.
Yes.
But we're planning for something. And I'm a big fan of planning. You know that, right? So even if so let's just say that this is the bottom of whatever it is that's happening.
Right.
You still want to have a plan in place just for what happens, right? What's my strategy? Because once we get to a place where there are not a lot of options, so banks do kind of they're tightening their lending, or if economy does take a sharp turn, that's too late to start making plans and decisions about how you're going to handle those situations.
Right.
So, just like everyone, even if you're in a startup business and you want to start up, you got to have a plan. What's your plan going to look like? How are you going to target your audience? How are you going to get the customers to come in the door? What happens when they do come in the door? How are you going to sell them on your next thing? So, same thing is what happens when the customers don't come in the door and you've done all the things you're supposed to do.
Right. Yeah.
You've done all the marketing, you've made all the promises, and the customers still don't come in the door. Then what do you start doing? So, these are the times that you want to start, and it's, fresh in the new year, always want to start your planning on what your 2019 is going to look like.
Yes.
So what's that strategy going to look like for you this year? And place some scenarios in your head. What happens if this scenario happens? What happens if this scenario happens? What do I do if cash flow starts to get tight? How can I create more cash flow? I'm also a big advocate for you borrow the money when you don't need the money, because that's the easiest part for us to get you a loan. And it's also the cheapest money for us to get. You may sit there, you may never use it, but it's there for a cushion for you.
Yeah, especially in the form of a line of credit. I love that idea.
Absolutely.
So Kelly Oliver, Business Loan Solutions here in studio. Also Jason Sallman, cryptocurrency expert here, as well as real estate entrepreneur. He's done a lot of things as well. But so yeah, a couple things. If you did those things and the business isn't coming, your cash flow is shrinking up, change your approach.
Yeah.
You got to change your approach. You got to do something different, especially these days with the marketing, with the so many different ways you can do. A lot of your, prospecting is zero cost. It's just how much you're willing to hustle.
That's right.
Are you willing to build a team around yourself, build in strategies where you can leverage, getting the leverage. And then every day just kind of waking up thinking about that Pareto principle. What can I do right now, this minute, this hour, to move that needle in the way of success?
So, also looking at signs. So as we start to say that the housing market is kind of softening a little.
Yes.
So then what other markets are on the rise? And I think I alluded to last year in Q3, Q4, commercial real estate, multifamily housing and new construction was on the rise. It still is very much in play and doing its thing, especially assisted living facilities. But something new started to show up this year, and that is agriculture. So a lot is being reinvested into farming, greenhouse technology, hydroponics.
Yes.
So if your business, then if you're typically going after one marketplace,
Yes.
that one has dried up, then what other marketplaces can you take and leverage your product to work in those markets as well?
I agree. I think we just scratched the surface with hydroponics and building. Just think about our food supply. Let's really think about our food supply and where does most of the food come from? How's it farmed? Is it sustainable? But when you think about hydroponics, I've seen some of those different things online and research where you go vertical. You go vertical and you build these big, instead of a parking garage, parking our cars, but that's a big one. By the way, I just listed a commercial real estate. I'm glad you said that word, commercial real estate. I almost forgot about a $3.5 million listing that I just took on Clearwater Beach. So where the Mandalay, or not the Mandalay, what am I thinking? Vegas. Where, the Wyndham.
We're back in office
Yeah,
now, right?
we're in Tampa.
exactly.
Okay. We're in Tampa Bay. Okay. So you're going on Clearwater Beach, go around the roundabout, you go to Wyndham, right across the street.
Yes.
You got the Wyndham, beautiful brand new hotel built. You look through, there's a breezeway right there. You can see the beach from my property.
Yeah.
It's a convenience store.
Oh,
Apartments in the back, nice sized lot, $3.5 million. Owners are motivated. So let's talk about that more when we come back, and more from our expert contributors here in studio. Kelly Oliver, Jason Sallman here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial. We have a feel good story coming at you as well. Fortnite streamer raises $611,000 for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital in just 24 hours. Stay with us right here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm also the owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Just joined a new brokerage this past week, really, and a lot of good things happening. You know, my wife is licensed as a realtor as well, and she's helping out on the buy side, the organization side of the company, and we're really excited. So a lot of growth and a couple of hot new listings. I want to let you know about 109 18th Avenue South in St. Petersburg. This is a beautiful property, 8 bedrooms, 4 bath. This is an opportunity for a investor or landlord, someone to come in. There's 2 separate properties. You've got a mother-in-law suite in the back, and also just a large front room house that has 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, and a detached in-law apartment that has 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, and a 3-car garage. Now, the interesting thing about this is the 1,000-foot rule applies to this. So it kind of deals with alcoholic beverages not being allowed to be close. It's kind of like a halfway house opportunity. Any investors out there in that space of halfway houses, those types of opportunities, great opportunity here. 109 18th Avenue South in St. Petersburg, beautiful property. Also, Seminole, taking you over to Seminole here, 9511 Antilles Drive in Seminole. Pinellas Groves, 4 bedrooms, 3 full bath. You got a half bath as well. This is a great property also, $578,000 just reduced. This is a gorgeous estate style home, large lot, David Weekley home on almost a half an acre lot here, mature landscape lot. Antilles Drive in beautiful Seminole, Florida. Some hot real estate properties. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com and check out these beautiful listings that we have at PlatinumMVPRealty.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, and this segment is brought to you by the beautiful Bilmar Beach Resort over on Treasure Island, Florida. Just got back from the beach, had a great time this past weekend. My wife and I went over and hung out, and they still have the standing ovations up, those cool sand castles that were put together a couple months ago, seems like 8 weeks ago. They're still up. It was pretty cool. They're beaten up by the rain a little bit, but some really talented sand artists come once a year and do the standing ovations at Treasure Island.
That's awesome.
And our official hotel partner is the Bilmar Beach Resort over at Treasure Island, filled with fantastic and generous amenities to make your vacation that much more special. There's 2 pools on site. You got Sloppy Joe's, the restaurant there as well. Awesome drinks and great food. And the general manager, Clyde Smith, is just awesome. Say hello to Clyde. Let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take him up on a little special offers and incentives that he has. Just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show, book your vacation, your staycation, and wedding and business trips over at Bilmar Beach Resort over on beautiful Treasure Island. All right, so we're back here in studio. Kelly Oliver in the house, business loan solutions, SBA loans, bank lending, hard money, cash advance, equipment loans, all types of good stuff there. Jason Sallman, cryptocurrency expert. And Jason, let me direct this one to you. So cryptocurrency, man, so many people kind of misunderstand what's going on, but in your eyes, you see like a revolution happening, don't you?
For sure. So I kind of think of like the internet 2.0.
Yeah.
So like the stage that we're in right now is kind of what the internet looked like in the early 90s. It's kind of crazy. There's companies popping up all the time that are worth $1 billion and then they're gone in 3 months. Like,
Yes.
It's very similar to that concept because you're in like an entirely new like breakthrough area. Like I still think the government's trying to figure out how to deal with cryptocurrency.
Right.
Like the IRS classifies it as a commodity. The Securities and Exchange Commission still trying to figure out their kind of mentality for it. Even the government kind of goes back and forth on what they think it is, whether it's a currency or a commodity or an asset or whatever it is.
Wow.
So it's very interesting to kind of see that develop because when they're having that much trouble trying to figure it out, it means it's actually a lot bigger than they originally thought it was. It's
Right.
not just a currency. It's not just an asset. It's very multifaceted. And so it's funny you mentioned kind of the ignorance factor of it because I've started to talk to businesses now all the time about accepting cryptocurrency and how it can be beneficial to them. And what I've really realized is the first thing I have to do is explain how the technology works, why it's important, and then how it benefits them. But it's that education factor of getting over. In the same sense, like if I asked you right now to explain to me how the internet works, that's probably a question that most people cannot answer, but they use it every day.
Right.
So it's an asset to them. And this will be the same coming into the future. But right now we got to get over that education portion
Absolutely.
or the adoption portion, either one.
Yeah. Like, how's the internet work? How's the phone work? How does the cell phone, bouncing signals off of towers? And so when you look at that, like, looking at where, Apple was $1 trillion company, there was
Amazon,
$1 trillion company. These companies are hitting world, records numbers of these different things. And then the other side you mentioned is, a lot of these guys come out of school, they go and start found a startup.
Yep.
And then they say, we raised this many millions of dollars. So these we have the mindset almost, a lot of the younger generation does, or that those folks that are kind of in that place of, well, I raised $500,000 or $2 million, $3 million, $50 million. But what does your company do?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you producing anything that's actually yielding results? Are you profitable? No, we're selling a bunch of advertisement, or So that's the challenge that you see.
Sure.
So there's different schools of thought and mentality, and it's interesting to think about, what our grandparents, how they would perceive this.
Yeah.
If they were still alive, or and some people do, I guess. But what a different world it is.
It is, and this is definitely an advisory for anyone out there who's maybe started to look at cryptocurrency. One of the things you're going to first fall into is something called an ICO, which is an initial coin offering. Same thing as an IPO, but the securities laws are very, very different. And essentially, once again, they're still trying to figure out how it all works. And so ICOs have kind of fallen into this gray area where companies are able to, raise $59 million in 2 months, but don't have an actual product yet.
Wow.
So that's the scary side of things for investors. So definitely for all the investors out there, disclaimer, I'm not your financial advisor.
Yes.
But make sure you really look into what the project's talking about. I would pretty much stay away from ICOs at this standpoint, because it is the Wild West.
Yeah.
And you don't want to just see your money evaporate into nothing.
Yeah, really.
So you really need to be wary, especially if you see the word ICO, be extremely wary of what you're talking about. There are some good ones out there, but they're all KYC, AML compliant. They have securities licenses, things like that. But that's like the 1%.
Wow.
Whereas like the 99% are nonsense.
Wow. Yeah.
Or maybe they have an interesting idea, but they have zero product. So that's kind of an aspect of it as well.
Yeah, and you look at, by the way, if you just joined us, Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the show, and Kelly Oliver's in studio, Business Loan Solutions, Jason Sallman as well, with cryptocurrency as a topic. So we're looking at, here we are in 2019. What do you see? Let's pull out the prognosticator hat and crystal ball again. What do you see happening this year? I mean, are we gonna see more people coming into the cryptocurrency space? And if so, are we going to have, and even more, fill us in on some of the big companies that have already adopted?
For sure. So the first thing I kind of want to touch on, because this is the thing that people focus on. And so I'll touch on it real quick and then kind of move forward, because people get really caught up in the price of cryptocurrency. But I actually think that price is the least interesting part of Bitcoin or even some of the higher use cryptocurrencies, because of what the technology can actually do. So like they're focusing on the day-to-day trading price. But that'd be like if you were doing the same thing with gold, but gold doesn't have an insane amount of use cases, whereas like Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency
The utility
does.
of it?
Exactly.
The utility. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so kind of looking at that. So then stepping past price, I'm not going to predict price because it's absolute nonsense.
Can't
Anyone
do
who
it.
tells you they know what it is, it's absolute nonsense. So,
Right.
I'm always, I'm a perma bull from the perspective of like a long-term perspective.
Yep.
But as far as market cycles go, I think we could easily go lower before we end up going higher.
Right.
But I'm glad you kind of brought up the use cases of it, because I think Bitcoin has an insane amount of use cases that really people just aren't aware of yet. And so even for all the collegiate graduates who are coming out right now, who may be like in the IT field, which is extremely hot, one of the number one open positions on LinkedIn this year was for blockchain developers. Blockchain is the system that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are built on. That was in the top 5.
Wow.
So that's a huge space. If you think about especially how it's in its infancy stage right now, like if you're getting into college or trying to come up with a major, like you should really look at this, because they're getting paid just great amounts of money for something that's not extenuating outside of the usual like IT perspective.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's a huge, just from a practicality of job growth.
Yeah.
I think there's huge job growth in Bitcoin. There's a lot of economists out there who think that blockchain and cryptocurrency will add $2 to $3 trillion to the worldwide market cap in the next couple of years.
Wow.
So that's a huge amount of growth if you get the potential to be in on that. And so that's what I feel like is the people who are talking about it right now, the people who are learning about it right now, are those early adopters.
Okay.
Another thing you actually mentioned before, which I want to touch on, you mentioned Amazon hitting the 1 trillion, Apple hit the 1 trillion. If you look back to the historical prices of Amazon, so when you had like the tech boom and bust and all that stuff, at one point it lost like over 93% of its value.
Wow.
So people like Warren Buffett came out and said like, I would never buy Amazon. Like he literally said
way.
Yeah, he said that because all they're looking at is the trading prices. They're not looking at what Amazon was actually like doing, like prospectively as an actual project. And then like look at it now.
Yeah, and Amazon, people don't realize the way that they got their start. A lot of it was they were spending money in Google AdWords early in the beginning when it was pennies on the dollar to get your CPM, your cost per mile.
Yeah, and they weren't profitable for the longest period of time as well, but they continued to raise more and more money because they could kind of see where the project was going.
Wow.
So it's interesting to see that.
Huge.
You see, tons of actual Wall Street players, so whether they're like hedge fund managers or traders or distributors or whatever it is, they're actually leaving Wall Street for cryptocurrency.
Wow.
Because they see that insane opportunity, right? Wall Street's been around forever. If you look at the way that general financial systems have worked, whether that's in remittance payments or the general banking system works, it really hasn't changed that much in the last 70 years. Like the way that SWIFT has worked, you're talking about 20,000 international banking partners through the SWIFT network, but they don't really do anything different than they've been doing the last 70 years. Whereas if you look just at what Bitcoin has done alone from just the remittance payment section, there's a huge amount of possibility there.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting to see.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting. I love the space. I love, trying to be an early adopter in a lot of different things, the Amazon Alexas, the Google Homes, those things. Our friend Patrick Morades is kind of a leader in that, with his business doing that. But yeah, so you always want to see where's the ball going, where's the curve, like the great Wayne Gretzky, I skate where the hockey puck goes. Those types of things. All right, stay with us. When we come back, more from our expert contributors, Kelly Oliver in studio, Jason Sallman, and Louise Harris just made her way into the studio as well. So you're in the green room back there. So we got some hot property listings coming up, as well as more from our expert contributors and our feel-good story of the day. Stay with us right here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Hi, my name is Joe Stalteri. I'm one of the owners of Complete Care Systems. At Complete Care Systems, we do carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile and grout sealing, wood floor and laminate floor deep cleaning, as well as stripping and waxing of linoleum and vinyl floors, and a whole lot more. We also run daily deals and special, which you can find at CompleteCareSystems.com, or simply call Trisha up at 727-364-5158, and she'll answer all your questions and give you over the phone free estimates. Or she'll send me out to your home or office to give you an on-site free estimate. At Complete Care Systems, we don't cut corners, we clean them.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
Welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, also the owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Really excited about that, and a lot of growth happening around our team and the brokerage, and a lot of cool things happening here in Tampa Bay. Hot market to be in. Lots of good things happening. Want to give a shout out to Brothers Easy Moving. The official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Brothers Easy Moving, and they strive to be the very best Tampa Bay moving companies by exceeding your expectations from the first phone call to the final customer courtesy call. And they are among the best reviewed Tampa movers, including Google, where they hold a 4.6 rating, the highest in the Tampa Bay area. They have an A rating from the Better Business Bureau, A rating Angie's List, 4.5 on Yelp, and they have won the Super Service Award in multiple years. Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And I personally know Gary, the owner, a great guy. They do the right thing, and they've got a great team over there. Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And a couple of hot listings here. 4613 South Matanzas Avenue. This property is in South Tampa. One of the best zip codes to live in all of Tampa Bay. 33611 zip code. And this property is just a quick walk over to the bay there, right? The Tampa Bay. You're walking up and down, looking at that beautiful water, biking, enjoying all that South Tampa has to offer. 4613 South Matanzas Avenue. 4 bedrooms, 3 full bath. You got a half bath as well. 3,300 square foot. Great, great property in South Tampa. And we've got one out in Valrico as well. 4212 Thistle Terrace Place in Valrico. River Hills Country Club. 4 bedrooms, 2 full bath. You got a half bath out there. 3-car garage. Beautiful property. Solar all over the roof. This property's got 26 solar panels, and it produces more electricity than it actually uses. So it's a net positive. 2,643 square feet, listed at $430,000. Just a great property here. A couple of hot properties. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com for all your real estate needs.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, so in studio today, we got Jason Sallman, cryptocurrency expert, and Louise Harris just joined us as well. Last research and editing, and it's happy birthday to you today, I hear.
Yes, happy birthday to me. Happy New Year to all of you.
Awesome.
And I'm sorry I'm late, but I was stuck in traffic, and that actually changed what I was going to talk about because, well, I was just thinking that there are different ways of dealing with being stuck in traffic. You can just go with the flow and know you'll get there eventually, or you can get angry and that'll just ruin your whole day.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
Make the most of it.
Really. So you need to be prepared, but when things go wrong, as almost always they do in business, find a solution to deal with it.
That's right.
And one of the things I was going to talk about is it's a new year, so you should reevaluate how you market things and try different things. And if you're prepared and you do your marketing well and you have a plan, you will succeed. But if something in that plan isn't working, then you need to fix it and do something different.
Yeah, absolutely. Try a new approach. That's right. We were talking about that earlier a little bit about planning specifically. You know, we had a little conversation about that. So yeah, I guess, you know, going back to the traffic thing, I jackknife trailer on one of the roads or something.
Yes.
I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, it was right before you actually hit the bridge. So
Yeah.
I was stuck in Roosevelt all the way up until I got to 60. So
Yeah.
it was.
At least you weren't in the accident.
No,
you know.
and that's a blessing.
We had
that
some
I
bad
wasn't-
ones this past week, man. The kids on I-75 got killed. It was a church group.
I
5 kids.
saw that.
Horrible, man. People just need to drive safer. Stop texting. And one of my friends posted online how they're testing for or trying to bust people for driving, you know, while intoxicated with marijuana, right?
Right.
How many? There's a focus on the marijuana, right? Because it's alcohol,
Right,
whatever the
'cause
FDA.
it's-
But you know, how about a focus on people texting and driving? That's something that almost 100% people do.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's distracted driving is almost always the reason for any accident.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be that you're distracted from alcohol or drugs. You could be distracted from texting, or you could be eating a hamburger and be distracted, or changing your radio station and be distracted.
Yep.
So
That's
people have to really pay attention to what they're supposed to be doing and not do 20 things at once. And that also applies to marketing, because you want to focus your marketing and you don't want to try this, that, the other thing until you can figure out how to make it all cohesive.
Yeah. And there's some things that it costs you nothing. It costs you nothing to pick up the phone and call a prospect.
Right.
You know, it costs you nothing to go door to door and start generating interest with companies or going to networking groups. I mean, a lot of these groups, you can go and just network with people.
Right. And that does, most of the time, that costs you nothing. And it is, things that work are, especially like if you're a pizza place that just opened, going door to door actually would help and work. And if you're a real estate agent, I actually, in November, someone stopped at my door, said, I'm just starting my real estate practice, and here's a flyer. But I know so many other agents that it really didn't do much to me. But
right. You know, you never know. Agent. They could catch that.
Right.
Yeah, you know the best agent. Good point. So, but I did. I got a big listing, $2.5 million listing that I'm looking at taking, and I said, well, you know, this last listing was okay. It wasn't great. The professional picture, they weren't. I said, how did? By the way, how did that happen? How did you get this agent? She said she knocked on my door. She knocked on my door. $2.5 million listing by knocking on the door.
Wow.
Didn't know her. Didn't, you know, but she just
didn't.
But that shows you right there, America. You know, we're in America. We're, you know, land of opportunity.
Right away. Yes.
Yeah, land of opportunity. All you have to do is get out and sweat equity and get it done. You know, there's ways to do that. If you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Louise Harris, Last Research and Editing. We also have Jason Sallman in studio, Cryptocurrency. Jason, I want to have you kind of pick up where you left off. You know, we were talking about some of the misconceptions around cryptocurrency, and then even some of the bigger banks, how they're utilizing maybe not the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency itself, but the blockchain technology. I think it was Walmart talked about how they're utilizing that for their inventory management system.
Yeah. So essentially, they're using it for produce systems, and so you'd actually be able to see, okay, this corn was organic. It was grown in Idaho. It took 3 days from farm to factory distribution, from there to Walmart's store center within 5 days. You could see it all tracked within the blockchain. And it's immutable. It's not able to be changed. So say, you wouldn't have to worry about corporations like fudging documents or things like that. Like, oh, well, actually it's been on truck for 2 weeks, but it's been frozen the whole time. And actually did not grow up on an organic, non-GMO farm. It grew up on Monsanto's. Shout out Monsanto. And so being able to track all of that through the blockchain is just a huge benefit of seeing that.
Yeah.
But I like how you kind of came up with the misconceptions portion.
Yeah.
So one of the things is that people think of Bitcoin as being incredibly new. And so what's interesting about that is, like, from a financial systems perspective, like, sure, the banking system has been around for forever. But Bitcoin actually just turned 10 years old last week.
Wow.
Which is really cool. People don't realize that actually it's been around for over 10 years. When you think of it like from a store of value perspective, so it originally traded at less than like 0.001 cents. I think today it trades over $4,000 per coin. So perspective of 10 years, there's no asset you could compare that to in the world that has a better ROI.
Yeah.
That's not to say it could not drop $1,000 tomorrow. It's done that before, but just giving quick perspective.
That is crazy.
But I love to see the actual use cases. So once again, like, kind of forget the price action of it, right? The technology itself is extremely innovative. So some of the things that it's huge for, and something I really want to touch on because I think it's missed a lot, is it's able to bank the unbanked. So to give you an example, 2.5 billion people in the world have no access to financial services at all.
Wow.
No banks, no checking accounts, credit cards, nothing. With Bitcoin, they can actually use their cell phone, whether internet or no internet. You can actually use it through an actual cell service. They can actually become banked. They can actually use financial services. If maybe one of them creates incredible pieces of art, but has no access to actually accept money for that, now with Bitcoin, they have the ability to do that. And then secondarily, people don't realize that Bitcoin is essentially unconfiscatable. So what that means is that, say you are a humanitarian rights activist, or even like what's going on in France right now with what's called like the Yellow Jacket protests. I don't know if you've seen that, but the country's kind of in like an interesting level of turmoil. They could easily shut down your bank accounts. So maybe you're saying something that the government doesn't like. Well, what you're saying may be true, but you have no ability to support yourself or to do whatever. Actually, through Bitcoin, you could be supported completely without using the banking system at all.
Good point.
So it's really huge. I've even seen in Arab countries, apparently women have an extreme problem with getting bank accounts. It's not illegal, but it's like weirdly frowned upon, and like you need all these signatures, even though you're of an adult age, to actually use a bank account. Whereas like a journalist actually found out about Bitcoin. She was kind of looking for another way to accept money for her. She had like a humanitarian blog, And this was in Afghanistan, and she was actually able to accept Bitcoin, and then she was actually able to pay herself and buy groceries and all those other things. So it was really fascinating to see the actual use cases for the technology.
Yeah, it is. That's freedom in its pure, simple form of freedom. And so great points that you bring up there. Now, on the flip side of that, would it increase trading for terrorist type things? Could it, for terrorist or evil plots or
So I always like to look at like potential use cases. So yeah, 100%. The facility is there for criminal activity. It's been used for that before. But what's interesting about that is, so whenever you deal with criminals or scammers, they're always on the absolute edge of technology. And the reason for that is their risk factors are extremely high. And so in order to combat those risk factors, in order to get whatever criminal activity they're doing, they always use the highest end technology because it's going to make them faster, or they can get around government bodies or do whatever. So 100% the use case is there for that. But like, I think in the beginning, people thought Bitcoin was completely anonymous. And that's actually not correct. It's pseudo-anonymous. So if they can connect you to a wallet address, which is where Bitcoin is stored, you're no longer anonymous. They can see what you're doing.
So they could track you if 100%. They needed to.
Yeah, there's actually very large corporations now. There's a corporation called Chainalysis, and that's all they do is track through the Bitcoin blockchain to connect to wallets.
Good. Yeah. Okay. So that actually is kind of a bright side to the whole equation.
There's a combat there. Yeah, 100%.
Cool. All right. So Jason Sallman here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Louise Harris as well. When we come back, interesting story in our feel-good story of the day. We got a Fortnite streamer that raises $611,000 for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital in just 24 hours. Stay with us right here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Consumer Quarterback Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show and a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay. We're helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties by featuring them on our program here, by doing a lot of innovative marketing that other companies just can't compete with, especially now under the Keller Williams umbrella. Really excited about that move. A lot of positivity in the marketplace, and Tampa Bay real estate is hot still. I know we're talking about softening in the market for some price points, but the market overall is still hot. I mean, this is the place to be. Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, Bradenton, in Sarasota, even up in Polk County out towards some really nice properties that they're here in the Tampa Bay market. And it's only going to appreciate over time. This is a paradise. People want to live here. And that's for sure. So PlatinumMVPRealty.com is your number one resource for all things real estate. And we got some hot property listings here. This one's in St. Petersburg, 3591 79th Way North in St. Pete. Kind of give you a snapshot of that 33710 zip code. 3 bedrooms, you got 1/2 bath, or you got a full bath, carport. Now, this is a great starter home or maybe even a rental opportunity that we just listed. It's listed at $199,000. Owner's motivated on it. Great opportunity. Corner lot in St. Petersburg. And the best thing is you're just minutes from the beach. So you live in a nice place like this, you drive to the beach, and you are on the beautiful beaches. All right, so we got 1370 Gulf Boulevard, unit number 401, Bella Rosa condo, 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, $1.149 million. Now, this property is 2,200 square feet heated, right on the Gulf of Mexico. Bella Rosa condo. It's in the Sand Key area of Clearwater Beach. Gorgeous real estate property here. Compliments of PlatinumMVPRealty.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
Let's give a shout out to Curry Leaves Restaurant, the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Indian and Thai cuisine, beautiful restaurant here. Excellent food, friendly wait staff, and the food is just amazing. All kinds of good stuff over there. They've got different types of desserts as well, but the flavor is unsurpassed. You're never going to find flavor like this. Curry Lee's Restaurant right here in South Tampa off of Kennedy Boulevard in beautiful South Tampa, the official restaurant partner, that is, of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we got Jason Sallman in the house, cryptocurrency expert. Louise Harris as well, last research and editing and PR. Does a lot of PR, does some ghost writing for people.
Yes.
So yeah, why don't you give a little overview
About the ghostwriting?
Yeah.
Well, your listeners have probably heard over months that I've been on the show how ghostwriting and having an ebook is a marketing tool, and how you can become an expert by having a book, because people want you to speak if you have a book, and then people want you to buy your book if they've heard you speak. So they balance each other out.
Yeah.
So it definitely makes you an expert, and it is a marketing tool that people don't realize that they can do. And if they are in a business like insect and pest control, they may not have the skills for writing a book. So that's why they would go to someone who has the skills and knows how to put it on Amazon and knows how to market it effectively to make them an expert in their industry. And that's where I come in.
Yeah, I love that idea. You have skill sets no matter what you're in. Jason could easily write a book on cryptocurrency. I don't know if he already has, but think about it. But who has the time? Who has and when you think about such a daunting task of writing a book,
right?
I remember back 6 years ago, that was one of my goals, and it was like, okay, how do I do this? I started, and I had paperwork here, and I had papers over there, and then I finally sat down with a ghostwriter, got it done.
And it's easy if you break it into projects, instead of saying, oh, I have this massive book, 250 pages I have to get done.
Yes.
If you say, I'm going to write 10 pages a day, it's so much more easy to deal with.
Chunk it down.
Right.
Yeah, chunk it down, set a goal. And then you can use your technology like your phone. You literally talk into your phone, into the notes section. That's what I used to do too, is I'd talk into the notes section of the phone.
A tape recorder, a phone, anything can record your thoughts, and then you can just give it to an editor who will clean it up and make it better.
I like that idea. And then now that when you have the content, you have, you're able to publish the book. For example, here's our book that we published a couple years ago, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves. This one, now you've got something tangible that you can take, you can hand out, you can show it to your listing clients. I like to put pictures in my book, especially when I traveled to Fiji and met Tony Robbins.
And it doesn't stay just as a book, because you can take parts of it and make it into a blog, or you can take a little snippet and put it on your Facebook and then link it back to your Amazon page. So there's so many things you can do with it once the content's there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you want to be able to put out content in different areas, different ways, across different mediums, different platforms. Some people are going to be more open to being in front of a camera, like myself. I'm okay with that. Some people don't want it. They get scared of a camera. They'd rather blog. They'd rather be behind the scenes, maybe do a podcast where they don't have cameras in studio, use their visual or their voice.
And that's why it's so good, because you can do it whatever way works for you, and whatever your business is, you can find a way to make it a good marketing tool and succeed.
Yeah, and just to touch on that real quick, because I think what Louise does is so important, and she kind of touched on it before, is that you may have an insane amount of expertise. Last time I was in here, the guy who had the technical specialties in carpet cleaning, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I remember him, Jerry.
And he may not have the ability to alter a book, but his expertise is extremely valuable. And so what she can do is kind of repackage that, make it pretty, make it, readable and all those things to where that expertise
Dumb it
can
down
add
for the
value.
masses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's right. Good point. Yeah, you can do that as well. Let's go ahead and get our feel-good story of the day in right quick here. Every day we're telling you something positive to mix in, sprinkle in a little bit with the nauseating news cycle out there that we see. We're going to tell you something good.
Tell me something good.
All right, so we got a Fortnite streamer raises $611,000 for St. Jude's Research Hospital in 24 hours. One of Fortnite's most popular gamers, Benjamin Dr. Lupo. Lupo has raised more than $611,000 for St. Jude's Children's Hospital in a 24-hour live stream. The celebrity streamer raised more than $1.3 million for the charity in 2018. Dr. Lupo, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I don't know Fortnite.
Sounds like
guys.
a YouTube screen name.
Dr. Lupo,
like,
Dr. Lupo, Dr. Lupo. 2.8 million followers on Twitch, and fans who donated money during his hashtag Build Against Cancer. 24-hour live stream on Twitch was rewarded with making Fortnite choices for Lupo. He played, and incentives bring in $611,000 from gamers in 85 countries. Giving back, that's a huge part of who I am on Twitch ever since I started streaming, Lupo said. And any opportunity I have to promote greater good in something is being a part of it. He enjoys being a part of it, he says. So there we go. Feel good story of the day.
And the St. Jude Hospital, they do so much, and they don't charge anybody. It's just a wonderful organization.
Great organization. And, back in the day, parents would say, well, get off those games. You're not going to get a job playing games. They're doing it now.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're playing games and making millions.
The gaming industry is exploding.
Unbelievable. And then
esports, the esports industry,
Yes.
especially they have these live tournaments in which teams play, and they're paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in sponsorships and stuff like that, which is insane. And I've definitely been out of the gaming industry for a little while. And what's interesting is actually about Fortnite is two things. First thing is, they have over 125 million users worldwide.
Wow.
So that's an absurd, thinking back when I was playing Mario Kart and things like that. And I guarantee there wasn't that many users at that time, obviously, because it wasn't interconnected because of the internet. And then what's interesting about Fortnite as well is actually one of the biggest distributors of products. You can actually buy things for your game in Fortnite, like weapons and special talents.
Inside the game.
Inside the game.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest stores, a store called Retail Row, actually just started accepting cryptocurrency as payment for these things.
Nice.
So it's funny to use digital payments for digital items in
Wow.
a digital world.
Yes.
That's pretty insane.
Ready Player
prospectively.
One.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Ready Player One, man. We're almost there.
My son spent his entire Christmas break playing Fortnite.
Yes.
Wow. It really is interesting because now the parents can't say that that's not helping them hone their skills. Here's another big thing I hear a lot of social media gurus talk about. They talk about reducing the screen time for their children. Right. That's a big thing among, upper class, whoever, reducing screen time. But really, when you think about it, what their argument or the social influencer guys they're saying, yeah, but that's where they're going to grow up. That's where they're going to make their money. That's how they're going to communicate with their friends and family and colleagues. So do we get them off the technologies? Or do we not?
Yeah.
Right.
And Gary Vee talks a lot about that. Actually, he's one of the big proponents of I don't ever tell them to put the device down unless it's something specific. I'm trying to have a conversation with them because they are going to live in this world, and everyone always fears change. It's the same way that people fear crypto or the internet or any of that stuff. They fear that change. Well, I didn't do that as a kid. It's you also did not have that device as a kid. You know what I mean? So prospectively, hindsight's always 20/20. But when you really look at it, that is where the future is going. They're going to do everything on their phones.
Yeah. Time changes. Time changes. Who would have thought that? Mr. I played football my whole life, team MVPs, this and that, USF football. I didn't even watch the game last night. My head was down.
Busy.
My head was down working. I'm getting deals done. I'm I was kind of kept thinking man, there's a game or something I thought. And I woke up this morning. I'm like, man, I missed the national championship game. And I heard it was a blowout though.
But it's the psychologists that are touting that you take them away from the computers because they're not socializing.
Right.
They're only socializing through their phone and that there is a reason for that.
That is a good point. That's a good opposite point. But so it is a balance. It's like anything.
Yeah, have to balance. Right.
Balance it out. Go to the networking groups. Go to Kids for Kids. It's great to go to school, and I know homeschooling is big for some people, but they might not have an advantage in terms of having that politician type flair whenever they are in a group, or who knows how they develop. And I know one of the things with screen time as an adolescent, very small adolescent, is the way that it deals with the brain, the cognitive function of the brain.
Yes, and it also affects their eyes, the parent, I think, too.
Right. Yeah, that's what I meant. It kind of goes through the brain, through the eyes.
Yep.
So who knows? It's all within a certain amount of time. Jason, give us your handle.
Oh,
Instagram.
yeah. So you can check me out on Instagram. It's at Jason Sallman, and actually have a brand new news show. I actually go over the cryptocurrency news in 2 minutes on YouTube under Jason Sallman every single day.
Jason Sallman, Louise Harris as well. Thanks so much for coming in. Please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food or clothing, hand it to that person in need, and be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 1025 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.